what is it, why is nutritional and cleansing so important now in today's society?
Well, I think it's because of the combination of stresses that we're currently under. Creates a situation where if we don't do something about that, if you take the stresses we're under and you combine it with what I was talking about earlier, with the quality of our nutrition being so poor, you get a situation that's really, really dangerous. I'm sure you know the horrible statistics in the Western world about what's happening with obesity, type 2 diabetes, all problems with memory, focus, all sorts of things. And so a lot of people have asked me this question over the years, and so I've developed a model, and I think in the control room we actually have a graphic that we can put up now, which is a way of organizing, visually representing some thoughts I want to share with you now. So if the viewers are looking at the model, basically what they're seeing is they're seeing a circle, they're seeing a triangle inside a larger circle. And so the triangle, the upper angle of the triangle, I just call your inner world. Thoughts, feelings, emotions, attitudes, expectations, body sensations, all of those things that make up your inner experience at any one moment. And then in the lower left angle, we have your biochemistry, which has to do with all of what you're exposed to biochemically. What you put in your mouth, what you eat, what you drink, the kind of makeup you use, the kind of chemicals that are in your carpet, on the clothing you wear, your deodorant, everything like that. And then on the lower right, we have structure and movement, which is how your body posture is, how you move your body, how you use your body, how you breathe. So you can imagine if the viewers are just thinking about going through a typical day, you can imagine the various kinds of stresses that are going on in your inner world, the various kinds of biochemical stresses, the various types of structural stresses, and you can see that modern men and women are under an enormous amount of stress a lot of the time, and we call that chronic stress, and that tends to produce changes in the body that's correlated with all of these dismal statistics. And so, you know, in the United States, we spend like almost 3 times as much per capita on health care than any other country, and our statistics for the health of our people is really terrible. And so something's not working with the model that we're using. And there's a lot of things that aren't working about it. I mean, we're really not focused on wellness and optimizing wellness. But another thing is that we're not taking into consideration in our model this issue of toxicity. So it's a huge deal. And so nutritional cleansing is a biochemical intervention into that triangle that has a ripple effect through that entire triangle. And then the outer circle represents the social context in which we're living. You know, we're under various kinds of social stresses. You know, most of us don't know our neighbors very well. We don't have our family around. A lot of times we're not part of a church group or a larger community anymore. And so those are stresses as well. And so the point is we're under a lot of stress, and it's kind of a downward spiral. And what can we do to begin to make a difference into that whole process? And obviously nutritional cleansing isn't the total answer. There's other things we need to address, and the model kind of gives people an idea of different areas of entry point where you might want to make a positive intervention. But the neat thing about this model is that there's a ripple effect. And so even though nutritional cleansing is an intervention that's starting on the lower left angle, the biochemical angle of the triangle, it has a ripple effect. It affects our inner world. When our blood sugar gets stable, when we get the minerals we need, we start to feel more solid and grounded. We think more clearly. Our moods don't swing so much, so it's affecting our inner world. It's affecting our posture as we have more energy. We feel we have more of a spring in our step. So it's a pretty high leveraged way to use your energy to intervene into the whole system. And it's actually quite easy to do if you're being properly guided. And I don't know if we're going to get into it in this show. We maybe do other shows where we get into more detail about what's involved in, you know, how to do it and have it work. But, you for me, it's been huge. And, I don't know if you'd be interested in hearing about kind of what really convinced me that this just wasn't a good idea, but it actually produced results.
Yeah, I'd love to hear more about that.
Okay. So, as you mentioned in the intro to the show, I've been a holistic doctor in private practice for over 25 years. And my commitment is, to ongoing excellence in my practice. And, what happens is what motivates me to learn more is when a patient has reached a plateau. And so I had a patient named Mary, we'll call her Mary. And she's been my patient for many, many years. And we weren't winning. She had chronic immune challenges, all sorts of things that I could give fancy names to. But to make a long story short, I felt like we'd reached a plateau, and I was getting ready to let her know that I didn't know where to go from here, and I was going to refer her out. And what happened was I didn't see her for 6 weeks. And then she came back 6 weeks later, and she was waiting for me, and I literally didn't recognize her. She was like a woman in her late 50s, I think, at the time. And she looked like 12 to 15 years younger when I saw her. And I said, Mary, what did you do? And to make a long story short, blah, 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 blah. Someone had talked to her about nutritional cleansing and had properly guided her through the first 30 days of her nutritional cleansing journey. And many chronic health problems had disappeared.
Wow.
Her weight had stabilized, her moods had changed, and it was like a big wake-up call for me that I really needed to investigate it. I had heard about nutritional cleansing earlier in my career, but when it was just getting started, there was only one type of cleanse, and it was pretty intense, and so we didn't know how to work with nutritional cleansing to make it work for a lot of people, and I just kind of put it on the shelf. But by this time, we'd learned more about nutritional cleansing and been able to develop different kinds of nutritional cleanses for people that were in different places, and that was my big wake-up call, that if I really cared about my patients, that I really needed to investigate nutritional cleansing, and I did, and it ended up having a big impact on myself and my family and my friends as well, and it continues to have a big impact in my practice.
I'm wondering, is there anything in particular that you feel like would be important for somebody watching this, a mother, or getting ready to close? Okay. Anything?
I would say take the next step. Like, I think Maureen's going to give you contact information to take the next step to just learn more. And just take that next step. It's just a little step. It'll probably be like a phone call or an email, and someone who cares and is passionate about nutritional cleansing will get back to you.
Great.